I'm a little late to the game because, as I said, it came out in 2020. I didn't actually watch it till this year, so I'm 6 years late into watching this show. But it was just because it didn't look like something I would like. And it's not that I don't like it. I like it. I just like it a little bit. I don't like it that much. And I'll tell you why. I felt like the boundaries in Toilet Bound was not explained well. It wasn't fleshed out well because I didn't understand it. I didn't understand the boundaries at all. Like, what the hell are they? It's kind of the same way I feel about like Jujutsu Kaisen with the with their power, the power where they summon I don't know what it's called. I'll have to look it up later. But they like summon this like place to fight, and I don't understand that. I don't get it. Like the way they explained it in Jujutsu Kaisen was not well explained, and the way they explained it in Toilet Bound was not well explained either. And the thing is about the boundaries in Toilet Bound, there was one, I think it was the third boundary, where Mitsuba ended up becoming the wonder in that boundary. But I'm like, okay, then who was the wonder in that boundary before that? And it never said. It never said who was the wonder in the third boundary before Mitsuba. I don't know if it was the third one, though, so take that with a grain of salt, but still, I was like, I want to know these things. And I felt like the pacing was often too fast to really get a grasp on everything. Like, I want to remember the story that I watched. I want to remember every detail that I watched about it. And if the pacing's too fast, it's gonna go by in a lickety-split. Kind of like when you're reading a book, and you read like 3 paragraphs and you don't even remember what you just read. So there were several backstories that got me teary-eyed, but there was one that made me actually cry, and that was Mitsuba's and Ko's. Their backstory literally sent me down a rabbit hole of sobbing because this motherfucker, like, he wasn't remembered. Nobody fucking remembered him, and that's one of my biggest fears is that no one's gonna remember me, that I'm not gonna be important. Like, I don't want to be, like, famous. I don't want that. I don't want, like, to be, like, an A-lister celebrity. But I don't want to be someone that's like, everyone was like, who was that again? You know what I mean? I want to be somebody significant. I want someone to be like, oh, that was that guy, and everyone knows who they're talking about, and it's me. I just want to be remembered. I want to be remembered for something. Maybe I could be that anime guy. I could be remembered for being that anime guy. Something good, not something bad, obviously. One thing I didn't expect, though, was for Hanako-kun to have a twin brother. That was a shock to me. I felt like the way that they played that out made it to where it wasn't something you would guess. Unless, I guess, you're a manga reader and you're, like, way ahead of the story and you already know. But I am just an anime-only fan. I only read certain manga. I read certain manga that I want to know the ending to. Or, I want to know more details about. Like, I'm reading Tokyo Ghoul, I'm reading Gangsta, and I'm also reading Berserk. I really love Berserk. I'm obsessed with it. I started it over because I had read up to chapter 40-something, I think. And, I just didn't remember where I left off at, and I wanted to have the full context for shows and stories that I'm really into. I'm a completionist. I started over. In fact, one of the anime in this list of anime that I've completed is something that I started over many times, but we'll get there. Because of who got me into it, I often associated it with my own life. And was like, I'll be like, ooh, I'm this character, and they're this character, and they're this character, and this person's that character, and this is what they would say, and this is what they would do, and this is why they're that character. And I'm just like, I don't know why I do that. Sometimes I do that, depending on, like, how impactful that person was in my life. I associate things that they show me with things that actually happened in my day-to-day life, especially if it's like an anime or music or something like that. It impacts me. It impacts me heavily. And so I rated it a 6.5 out of 10, and most people are going to gasp at that, but hear me out. For me, 5 is average. 5 is like bland, boring, just basic show. 6.5 or 6 is above average, meaning I thought it was good. I thought it was good. I just didn't think it was that good. The next anime I'm going to be talking about is the Chainsaw Man movie, the Reze arc. This came out in 2025 last year, and I completed it on May 19th of this year, which was like 3 days ago. So here is the short-ass synopsis for this movie, because Chainsaw Man's not something that's a new thing. It's been well known for a minute. So anyway, after Denji goes on a film date with Makima, he takes shelter from the rain in a phone booth, where he meets Reze, a girl who works at a nearby cafe. That's really the only type of synopsis you can give for this movie without spoiling it, but it doesn't matter because I'm gonna be spoiling shit anyway. Reze is the only girl who ever loved Denji, and that pisses me off, because guess who kills her? Makima. Well, at least that's apparently what happens, because I was looking things up, because you know, like when you like watch a movie, you just can't believe something. I was looking up, did this really happen? And it gave me manga spoilers, so thank you, Google, for being an asshole. It was a great movie. It was an emotional roller coaster. That shit had me up and down. There were moments where it was like, oh, that's so cute, that's so sweet, they're falling in love, and then there's other moments where it's like, oh my god. Oh my god, oh my god! Just the more and more you watch it, the more you're just like, what the flying fuck? I don't know what it is with Denji and kissing girls, but the first kiss he had in the show, the first kiss he ever had in his entire life, was, the girl was drunk and threw up in his mouth. Yeah, I'm being dead ass. And then the second kiss he ever had in his entire life, I believe, was in the Reze Arc movie. And she bites his tongue off on purpose! I can't. This poor guy. I felt like the fight had depth beyond just the gorgeous animation and beyond how fun it was to watch. It had so much story depth because of everything that happens. Denji falls in love with this girl, and she ends up being the evil guy. It's so messed up. Anyway, I rated this movie an 8.5 out of 10 because that shit had me wrecked. And then the next anime I'm going to be talking about was Vinland Saga Season 2, which came out in 2023. And it took me 3 years to watch it because I started watching it when it was coming out. There's a lot of reasons for that. I completed it on May 19th as well, 4 days ago. But the thing is I didn't take 3 years to watch Vinland Saga because it was slow or because I didn't like it. It was a lot. It's a lot of a show. It's very emotional. Every episode gave me a new reason to cry. But anyway, here's the synopsis for this. A new millennium begins in Denmark when the depth of Askeladd, Thorfinn's enemy and murderer of his father, causes him to lose purpose in his life. He was bought by Kettle as a slave to begin land reclamation work on his farm. Thorfinn meets another slave there named Einar, who shares in facing this new life and the sins Thorfinn committed to begin to find meaning. Canute became king of England and attempts to expand his own territories for the establishment of this so-called promised land. And the reason I say so-called promised land in quotations like that is because I don't agree with the way Canute thinks. Canute was trying to make a promised land for all the Vikings, and Thorfinn was trying to make a promised land for people who had suffered and who deserved a better life. I obviously am gonna go with the main character's point of view on this, because the way the whole show goes, it just makes you go, God dang, they're traumatized. You know what I'm saying? There were moments, several moments within the show where Thorfinn would have night terrors, and I myself, throughout my whole life, well, not really my whole life, since I've been 2 years old, had night terrors, and so it was hard to watch that as well. The thing is Thorfinn, you guys know Thorfinn from Season 1. He is a badass fighting machine. And he allows himself to be captured for slavery. He allows it because he feels so much guilt and so much shame for all the wars and villages he pillaged and things he burnt down and lives he destroyed and people he has murdered, that he believes he deserves it. Are you kidding me? Thorfinn, stop it! You were literally a child. It was theatrically so beautiful. The pacing was perfect. But anyway, I rated the show a 9.5 out of 10. Those were the past 5 shows I've watched this year. And it's already May, so I basically watched 1 show per month. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment, share, do all the good stuff, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.